All right, it's always great to hear this man's voice because it means baseball season is upon us. Here to preview the Dodgers 2026 season and their quest for a three-peat. Yes, a three-peat. It's team reporter and host of Dodger Talk on AM 570 LA Sports, Mr. David Vassegh. Hello, David.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Time for Dodger baseball, just about. Could you start out by just putting into perspective how unique and rare this really is that we have a team actually going for 3 straight world championships this season?
Yeah, it's something that hasn't been done in 26 years, and that's when it was the Yankees dynasty of Jeter, Posada, Andy Pettitte, when they won 3 in a row from 1998 to 2000. And you have to go back to the mid-'70s before that Yankees team to find another team that did a three-peat. The Oakland A's in the mid-'70s pulled off a three-peat with Reggie Jackson on the team. So this is not something that presents itself all that often. It's basically once every 30 years if you're lucky. If you really want to age yourself, there's a lot of people listening right now that weren't alive when the Yankees did complete the three-peat. So this could be the first time in someone's baseball fandom that they ever witness a team that wins 3 in a row.
Well, so of course, to keep winning, you have to keep retooling. Rosters never stay the same. The Dodgers made 2 massive moves in the offseason, landing arguably the 2 biggest free agents on the market in Edwin Diaz and Kyle Tucker. Tell us what they're going to bring to this team.
Well, Kyle Tucker, first and foremost, it was somewhat of a shocking contract that he signed because you don't see those NBA-type contracts in Major League Baseball where they take shorter-term deals and have a large annual salary. That's what Kyle Tucker did. He took a $55-60 million annual salary over the job security of a 10-year, $300+ million contract offer from the Toronto Blue Jays. But being around Kyle Tucker in spring training, you start to understand why the Dodgers were so appealing. Number one, they have a great infrastructure and they've got a great team to surround him. But he's a guy that doesn't want to be the focal point of any team, and he can just blend in with this Dodger team, and he makes them that much better offensively and defensively. And another hole that the Dodgers had last year that they filled this offseason is closing out games. They blew a lot of late leads because Tanner Scott was not up for the challenge. So they doubled down and signed another big high leverage reliever in Edwin Diaz. So he definitely is going to make a huge difference to close out games this year.
Okay, as always, it seems the Dodgers are starting out the season a little bit shorthanded. They'll be starting without Tommy Edman, Kike Hernandez, and Blake Snell. When might we expect to see them come back?
Well, Tommy Edman underwent right ankle surgery during the offseason, so this was expected. Same with Kike Hernandez, who was playing through a bad left elbow, his non-throwing elbow, through the postseason. Tommy Edman will return at the end of May, and Kike Hernandez will not return until late June. Blake Snell got a late start as far as his throwing program during the offseason. He as well is going to join Tommy Edman in returning probably by the end of May. And so far, so good. No pain in that left shoulder as he's starting to ramp up for the season.
So the Dodgers ended 2024 and played a lot of 2025 being short on starting pitching. We know how the season's ended, so they made it through. This year, Clayton Kershaw retired. Blake Snell, as we talked about, starting on the IL. And Roki Sasaki struggled in spring training, transitioning back to a starting role. Do you see starting pitching being an area of concern or not quite?
Well, I would say, honestly, they're thinner than what they were at the end of last year because the starting pitchers got healthy at the right time at the end of last year. But Kershaw, I think people forget, he wasn't just along for the ride. He had the second most starts of any pitcher this side of Yoshi Yamamoto on the Dodgers last year. So they do miss that. Roki Sasaki's a wild card. And I kind of, at this point in time, I know it sounds crazy to say, but I feel like when the trading deadline comes around at the end of July, the Dodgers may be in a market for another starting pitching. That's how thin I believe they are, thinner than what they were a year ago.
So another rule change this season. Opening day also means the official debut of the new ABS challenge system, which we saw a lot during spring training. Will the Dodgers have any certain approach or strategy to challenging balls and strikes?
Yeah, it's funny. During spring training, they were experimenting with that and kind of finding out whether or not or where was that low strike being called. Will Smith was at the World Baseball Classic for a big chunk of games, and rookie catcher Dalton Rushing didn't have a lot of success challenging as a catcher. So I look for that to improve. But as far as strategy for hitters with the ABS, that's still something that remains to be seen because the Dodgers didn't seem to have any sort of strategy.
Little bit of prediction time. Who's someone would you say might not be on a lot of Dodger fans' radar who's trying to sort of have a breakout season this year? Maybe someone we should watch out for that's not being talked about enough.
Well, speaking of starting pitching, there's a young starting pitcher, River Ryan, who's 27 years old, coming off Tommy John surgery. He had a spectacular spring training, but because he missed all of last year, he never pitched in any minor league games, and he needs that seasoning. So I expect River Ryan by June or at the very latest after the All-Star break to be a huge factor for the Dodgers in their starting rotation.
And then finally, it might be a little bit early for this one, but we're thinking big picture already. What are some of your keys to the Dodgers winning it all for a third straight time and giving us yet another parade in the fall?
Well, I fully expect them to run the gauntlet of the regular season, the marathon of the regular season. But, when you get into the postseason with the extra added rounds, it's so random. I hate to say that, but it is. You need a lot of luck. But what they have done is tried to eliminate the variables as best as they can with the players that they kept and the players that they added. So they're in a great position to try to make a run.
David, thank you so much as always. I wish you and the team all the best this season.
Thank you for having me. Let's go Dodgers.
All right. Thank you so much.